1971. Vito Acconci, renowned artist. We will be looking into his video art piece, Centers. The shot on videotape, 22 minutes and 28 seconds long. Acconci will hold this pose for the entirety of the tape until the tape itself runs out. He is pointing at the center of the lens. The most famous analysis of this piece was by Rosalind Cross in 1976 video, The Aesthetics of Narcissism. In her essay, she focuses on how video artists focusing and filming themselves is in a way narcissistic, as they make the subject and the object themselves. She groups Acconci with these other video artists and states, "For Centers was made by Acconci using the video monitor as a mirror." The problem with Cross's analysis is that Acconci is pointing at the center of the lens of the camera. If he were, while filming this, to be pointing at a mirror image of himself, the audience would not be seeing the tip of his finger. Therefore, Acconci is not necessarily pointing at himself, but rather the lens, and therefore the audience. The theme of the video is not about Acconci, but rather the audience and the technology of the camera. Two other critics responding to Cross's argument are David Josselett in his essay Tale of the Tape, Radical Software in 2002. He states narcissism, if that's what it is a thoroughly social act that interpolates the spectator as an object in another. Another response to Cross's critique can be found in the essay Performance Video and the Rhetoric of Presence 2000 by Anne Wagner. Here she focuses more on how the technology of the monitor opens outward as well as in. Not only does it register a process of surveillance, it itself asks for monitoring. She is stating the monitor as the image we see projected. She is bringing to attention the technology of the camera and the monitor in the image rather than the audience. Acconci confirms his intentions of Centers, the magazine Avalanche. He states that his gesture is a pointing away from myself at an outside viewer. All three of these responses do not dictate that Acconci is pointing at himself, but rather the audience and the camera. When an audience member sees Acconci pointing to them, it is brought to their attention their act of viewing. Therefore, it begins to define one of the goals of early video art, and that is to question the role of the audience. When he is pointing at us, we must consider what is our role. Is it passive or active? What is the viewer's relationship with cinema, with the camera? The role of your viewing is questioned. This is essentially what Josselett and Acconci have stated in his pointing to the audience. Where Wagner focuses on the technology, the camera, there is a bit of a difference. Physically, he is not pointing to us in the audience. That is what we see. Physically, he is pointing to a camera lens. The significance of surveillance makes the camera itself a sort of entity which views the audience. By projecting the image of pointing, he is acknowledging your presence within the lens of the camera. You, the active viewer, are being watched, and if you are passive, you will not notice. What does it mean to be watched? What does it mean to watch? Viewing, technology, and the presence of the artist himself.